makes me upset because I like to learn about new things.
Since I'm going into middle school, we're getting a lot of written reports. And sometimes I need my mom to look over them to see if they're right.
I have like 8 classes.
I didn't have as much mistakes as I used to.
Well, in kindergarten, on Fridays, we always did projects.
When you take a test, well, testing is basically for showing your skills, and the only way to do that is by acing the test.
I think maybe, I want to say every quarter, but I think it's like twice.
Once I had a test and there was a question that we didn't even study about, so that's basically what I'm saying.
Not much.
I like to eat lunch.
I think failing is mostly negative in your high school and college years, because in high school if you fail, you don't really get the opportunity to go into a really good college.
Well, everybody's like, sometimes they get up out their seats and start running around, and she can't like go with 2 people. She can't just go talk to them and leave the class.
She would always say like, no, this is wrong, and there'd be a lot of mistakes on the paper.
Alone.
I know how grades are important, and a few years ago my teacher explained to me that grades are really just supposed to show how you're doing in school.
And the next day they always do something bad, and then it's harder for her to keep those 5 students
Quiet.
Yeah.
Other kids, well, their parents don't really care what their grades are. They just care that they're trying their best.
Trying to control the other kids.
My perfect classroom. In one corner there would be a TV for morning announcements.
We can't get to the lesson.
On January 8, 2002, President George W. Bush, at the ceremony celebrating the No Child Left Behind law, said, "Taking tests are hard. Too bad." The president's comments were meant to assure the nation that teachers would be held accountable for the progress of every child in every classroom. Testing children once a year would finally give teachers, parents, and students a clear indication of academic progress. No Child Left Behind legislation was also going to put the spotlight on schools that were consistently failing and put those schools into corrective action. Today, 8 years later, the push is to standardize curriculum, increase frequency of testing, and cultivate an atmosphere of competition for federal dollars and support. The world of education has become more about policy and number crunching, and less about children and the unique set of needs each one brings to the classroom. In Maryland, for example, a typical 8th grade student will take the measures of academic progress in reading 3 times per year: the Maryland State Assessment in Reading, the Maryland State Assessment in Math, the Maryland Science Assessment, high school assessments, and final exams. Most of the school year is spent preparing for tests, with little time left for the love of learning. Elliot Eisner, author, arts educator, and professor at Stanford University, criticizes the classroom that has a clock-like character of the assembly line.
If you want to prove an arithmetic relationship, in addition you subtract, in multiplication you divide, if you divide you multiply, and you can come out with certainty. This is the way the rules are. When you're dealing with a poem, a dance, a painting, there is no such certainty. You have to make judgments. So on what basis do these judgments rest? Well, I think they rest on somatic knowledge.
The one-size-fits-all approach drains the magic from education. Students rarely engage in learning that interests them, and teachers have little flexibility to make creative curricular decisions. There's very little sharing going on today in America's classrooms. A principal of a Title I elementary school shared, "We have not made our AYP testing goals for 3 years in a row. It's sad because my teachers come here to work every day and pour their hearts and energy into preparing for those tests. We don't teach art or music. There's no time. Students who need creativity and out-of-the-box approach to teaching and learning will always be punished by No Child Left Behind."
Would
Would you say that you're encouraged to use your imagination in school?
Not much. Yeah, because in writing, we get to write about anything we want.
Okay. In the period of 1 week, how many tests or quizzes would you say you get?
I would say about 2,
Okay. And what grade are you in?
4.
I like creative writing. And when I do creative writing, I always use my imagination.
If I were to go up to my teacher and like ask him, I would want to know more like about how to write like a paragraph, more like that kind of thing. Because I love to write, and it's just something like I could do that makes me happy. And sometimes like when the teacher teaches us, it's not always something I want.
When you're taking tests, how does it make you feel?
I get really nervous
Why do you get nervous before tests?
because I'm afraid like I'm gonna fail or I'm not gonna do very good.
Do you feel pressure to perform really well on tests?
Like they're expecting me to do really, really good, and I don't know if I could do that good.
And if you didn't do well on one of your tests and you got your scores back, and some kids were proficient, some kids were advanced, and some kids were at the basic level, how would that make you feel if you knew where your scores fell in terms of, comparing to other students?
I guess it would make me like kind of think down on myself.
Because why?
If it was like lower than everybody else's, or if it was higher, I would kind of feel a little bit better. But if it was lower, I would feel like they were better than me and like they learned better than me or something. I can feel nervous, but sometimes I feel like confident in myself that I'll do good.
What kinds of things does your school tell you as you prepare for taking the MSAs?
Tell us just to like review some things, sleep good, get a good breakfast, stuff like that.
And you take your MSAs in the springtime in March?
I think so.
Okay.
Because you try your best and you sometimes failure, you can mess up or not do a great job.
What is your favorite thing about preschool?
Go trick or treat.
You go trick-or-treating at school? Can I ask you a question? What do you like learning most in circle time?
We read a story about the little bear, but I forgot. We read stories.
And what can
I forgot. I left my Runaway Bunny book at my school.
can you tell me a little bit about the games that you play in preschool and what you learn?
I like to paint.
You like to paint? What do you?
I made a picture like a mermaid.
Okay, and what do you like to learn at preschool?
I like to eat lunch.
You like to eat lunch? Can you tell me a little bit about the bear bingo game that you enjoy so much?
It's fun. You do the numbers.
How do you do the numbers?
You put each teddy bear on the numbers that you have.